Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today we're going to be starting a brand new what if, and this what if is what if Naruto had Samehada, the blade that Kisame wields? And with that being said, we really don't have much more to add to the intro, so let's just get straight into the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like a Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, bitch coming over.
Okay, so how would this story exactly, come together? And the answer to that question is when Itachi and Kisame post up to Naruto at that hotel and, they arrive at his doorstep, we are going to say here that when Naruto flexes off his QB chakra and Kisame uses Samehada to bunk that chakra, we will say here that when Samehada actually eats Naruto's chakra, he kind of can't get enough of it, and it's kind of like when he interacted with Killer Bee's chakra. He would kind of betray Kisame and kind of just force himself out of Kisame's hands and immediately leaps towards Naruto. Now, we know that Kisame's sword, Samehada, can actually manipulate its size and it can actually expand. However, we don't exactly know if it could shrink its size, and I'm going to say here that Samehada isn't going to shrink its size to actually help Naruto manage to wield him, but rather Kisame's sword is just expanding even more in Naruto's hands, and Naruto is just kind of getting his chakra sucked away. Naruto acts quickly, summoning 2 shadow clones before his chakra completely diminishes, and the 3 clones would then have enough power to actually lift up Samehada. With this, Naruto is now wielding the power of Samehada, and Samehada would actually help out Naruto here and actually give him the power he needs due to him loving his chakra. And at that point, Naruto is able to wield Samehada and actually have a much stronger blade than Kisame would ever have. With Kisame not having Samehada, he's now having a big disadvantage, and Itachi is ready to act quickly, but Sasuke would then intervene and he would then use his Chidori, which allows him to get slammed into a wall. Naruto here would be trying to wield Samehada and trying to learn how to use it exactly, or trying to use it in his own way, and this leads into Kisame kind of avoiding every attack that the 3 Narutos throw at him with Samehada. However, he then catches him off guard when one Naruto stops wielding with Samehada and rushes at Kisame full speed. At that point, Kisame would be easily able to react to this Naruto and kind of body him, but this would give the 2 other Narutos enough time to then kick Samehada straight into Kisame. This would then lead into Samehada bashing right into Kisame's stomach and him absorbing all of his chakra, weakening Kisame heavily. Samehada would then flop himself to the 2 Narutos, and they would both be able to wield the sword pretty easily at this point, and this would then lead into them getting ready to try and finish off Kisame. However, Kisame has plenty more fight to give in now. However, he's not going to be able to show it as Jiraiya then shows up, and Itachi advises Kisame to leave. So the 2 Akatsuki members barely managed to escape, and Might Guy would still come and kick Jiraiya and take Sasuke to the hospital. Now, when Kisame escaped, he escaped without Samehada because Samehada made it clear that he is not going to be going with Kisame because now he has a new host, Naruto. So this means that Naruto is not going to be having Samehada by his side, and Samehada is not going to be trying to abandon Naruto because he does want that chakra clout, and he will help out Naruto in any way, shape, or form he can. And keep in mind that Samehada actually gives regeneration abilities. And that on top of the 9 tails would allow Naruto to heal his wounds pretty effectively, and not to mention Samehada overall is just a good assistant for Naruto. Jiraiya would actually help Naruto out and seal Samehada inside of a scroll, and Naruto keeps the scroll on him and unseals it anytime he needs Samehada and, just put him back in the scroll. It's just really convenient. Eventually, they encounter Tsunade, which Naruto won't be relying on Samehada in this battle, and he would still lose because, he failed using the Rasengan, and that whole bet with Tsunade takes place as per normal, and eventually we arrive at the Kabuto and Orochimaru fight. Naruto would intervene and take the attack for Tsunade, and at that point he would then summon 2 shadow clones, with one taking out the Samehada blade and one helping him form the Rasengan. We would then have Naruto rushing in with his shadow clone using a Rasengan to knock Kabuto away, and this time we'll say Kabuto barely manages to stand up while Orochimaru is facing against Jiraiya. Tsunade would get her confidence amp and unactivate her Byakugo seal and pretty much bop Orochimaru. Kabuto would lunge at Naruto with a chakra blade. However, in the meantime, Naruto reacts by getting his 3 clones to hold Tsunade and essentially do a sword slash with Kabuto. They manage to outspeed Kabuto, blitzing him just in time before he can tag any of the Narutos that are out there, whether it be shadow clones of the real one, and regardless, Kabuto gets some of his chakra stolen by Samehada, and it's used to heal Naruto's wounds. Kabuto is defeated and Orochimaru and him barely manage to escape, and this would then be a W for Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Naruto. Tsunade would become the 5th Hokage, and this would then lead into the Sasuke retrieval arc, with Sasuke having a fight with Naruto at the hospital, and Naruto won't be using Samehada here, only using his Rasengan, but Kakashi still intercepts them. He has that little talk with Sasuke, and we still get the sound for invading the leaf and kidnapping Sasuke and forcing him to join them. When the Sasuke retrieval team is made, they would still go out to face the Sun 4, and really all of the matches, except for Naruto versus Kimimaro, is the exact same, because Naruto with Samehada wouldn't influence those matches. The only thing I can see Samehada kind of changing is the Jirobo Dome type thing, but it doesn't really matter since the only thing that it changes is the Sasuke retrieval team intercepts Sound 4 much earlier, and Kimimaro just have to walk a few more feet, and Kimimaro would still arrive, take Sasuke, and Naruto would face him. Naruto would try and use Samehada against Kimimaro, but Kimimaro is just simply too fast and is slowly taking down Naruto's shadow clones. Samehada is trying to amp Naruto up with some of his own chakra, but it's just not working and Naruto's too slow. At this point, Naruto knows he needs to activate more power, and at this point he would activate a little bit more of the QB, and with the combination of Samehada, he would heal some of his wounds, and he would then rush at Kimimaro at full speed, being able to actually hold the sword with 2 hands. Naruto's willpower is amping him up to actually try and keep up against Kimimaro, and Naruto would be almost able to tag him, but again, it's just too slow for Kimimaro, and Rock Lee would still have to intercept, and Naruto would see Sasuke run away, and he would pursue after him. After this, we would still get the final Valley fight with Naruto maybe using Samehada at the end, and if that's the case, Sasuke is just going to probably try and use his precognition to evade those blows, and if he gets hit once by Samehada, some of his chakra is getting taken from him. And we'll say that Naruto manages to barely connect a blow with Samehada to Sasuke, and some of Sasuke's chakra has depleted, and Sasuke knows he needs to just let everything out in this one attack. So Sasuke then uses his Black Chidori, which pierces Naruto's lung, and Naruto is seemingly killed while Sasuke just walks away. But luckily Samehada and Kurama combine their efforts to actually regenerate Naruto back to full health. Naruto would be completely fine, not even needing to go to the hospital or whatever, but when he wakes up, he notices Sasuke's just been long gone, and he's devastated. Kakashi eventually comes through and takes Naruto back to the Leaf, and everyone in the Sasuke retrieval mission still survives, luckily, and we still get Naruto and Jiraiya leaving the Leaf Village for 2.5 years to go and train for the Akatsuki, not to mention Naruto wants to bring back Sasuke. Everyone else in Konoha would be training for 2.5 years, and Sasuke himself would be training. Kisame is devastated at the fact that Samehada just betrayed him, but no matter, he's just going to be training for the next 2.5 years as well and getting accustomed to the lifestyle without Samehada. Now, during the 2.5 year gap, Naruto still learns everything that he learns as per normal, you know, the Mega Rasengan, summoning, etc., but Naruto would also get accustomed to Samehada. And it gets to the point to where he's kind of like Guts from Berserk in a way where, you know, he's carrying this big-ass sword on him. Naruto's now strong enough and he's been training with it for so long to the point to where it doesn't really bother him. Now, when Naruto discovers the Four Tails and completely bops Jiraiya, we actually get something pretty more intense for Jiraiya and Naruto. Instead of Naruto just having the Nine-Tails chakra, we see Samehada kind of merging with this Nine-Tailed Naruto. And it would essentially be Samehada merging with Naruto in his QB state, and this Naruto is just so much more powerful, and the chakra is literally overflowing throughout his body. Jiraiya at that point even had to summon Gamabuntas to try and hold Naruto down and eventually calm him down in using that little ceiling tag. After this, Jiraiya would explain to Naruto what kind of state he went through, and Naruto doesn't even remember it, and Naruto would then say to himself, and Jiraiya would even tell him eventually, that he should probably use that as a last resort. It's kind of a gambling tactic because if Naruto gets all that power, he's not going to be able to control it, so he can either attack the enemy and defeat everyone, but also attack his teammates and, you know, not really help them out. It could be a liability, but Jiraiya just tells Naruto if he ever feels like he's losing a fight and he needs to just win it, then I guess that's the last resort that he can rely on. Naruto would still arrive back to the Leaf Village, and he and Sakura would take on Kakashi in the bell test. They would win and take the 2 bells, and eventually they would go on the Kazekage rescue mission. When facing Itachi, we could have Naruto trying to tag him with Samehada, and that's what happens in his last attack when Naruto would finally get some of Kurama's influence, you know, the whiskers, the red eyes, in conjunction with Samehada to allow him to leap over to Itachi and kill him, or at least the fake Itachi, not the real one. Naruto with Samehada wouldn't necessarily change this part of the story since they're chasing down Deidara and Samehada would kind of be weighing him down, so he puts it in the scroll that he's been holding on for quite a while. Because he actually holds the scrolls just in a, just in case scenario, and this would then lead into Naruto still activating some of Kurama's chakra and Kakashi sealing it away and Deidara escaping, but Kakashi saving everyone with Kamui. Now, after this, we would still get Sasori versus Chiyo and Sakura, and Chiyo would still die in the end by sacrificing herself for Gaara, and Sakura would get the information on Orochimaru and Sasuke. After this arc, we would still get the Sasuke rescue mission, or at least round 2 of that, and we still get Sai and Yamato being introduced to Team 7 and escorting Naruto and Sakura to the bridge, and we still get the same interactions as per normal, with Orochimaru coming in and making Naruto go berserk. Here, Naruto would go into his three-tailed state and lunge himself towards Orochimaru, smacking him away, and Samehada would then be summoned out of the scroll thanks to Naruto, and this would then lead into Naruto and Samehada combining their powers once again. This is what this part has been kind of leading up to and foreshadowing since Naruto and Jiraiya's training. This would then lead into Naruto merging with Samehada, increasing his power exponentially and bullying Orochimaru, leaving him kind of like Boros after he got hit by the serious punch. What Jiraiya would have been talking about Naruto and how it's a liability would then come to fruition once Naruto is then stopped by Sakura, who tries to calm him down, but Naruto just instantly one-shots her. At that point, this then leads into Kabuto and Sai running into Orochimaru's assistance, and they would then rush him out of there. Now here, I'm going to say Yamato still uses that jutsu, which would free Naruto from Kurama and Samehada's grasp, and Naruto would only be carrying Samehada and make sure to calm himself down so, that never happens again. Because Naruto going into that state is still very dangerous, and this then leads into Naruto and Sakura and Yamato encountering Sasuke, and Sai changing sides to try and help against Sasuke, which doesn't work, and everyone in Team 7 still gets negged. And that is until Naruto's Samehada would actually be blocking and absorbing Sasuke's attacks, which would then lead into Sasuke kind of getting into a more serious position and preparing to attack Naruto. At that point, Naruto would then hold Samehada and prepare against Sasuke, which would then lead into the two of them clashing with their swords, and Sasuke's Chidori that is infused with his blade would be absorbed by Samehada, which Sasuke would be taken aback by. Sasuke would then move backwards, firing multiple fireballs to keep his distance, which Naruto would be able to react to and slice the fireballs in half, not allowing Naruto to get damaged at all. Naruto wouldn't even be damaged in the slightest, and even if he was to say get hit by a fireball, that's fine, Samehada could just heal him up. Sasuke would activate his curse mark stage 1, while Naruto would be influenced by Kurama and not fully fusing with Samehada, but rather just being, mentally linked with it, just them being in synchronization. This would then lead into Naruto and Sasuke kind of scrapping for a little bit, and Naruto's tails would be going up while Sasuke would be forced to use the Curse Mark 2 state. And it's getting to the point to where Naruto's about to go into his four-tailed state, and Yamato would then calm him down, and Sasuke would revert back into base and prepare his Kirin. Now here, I'm going to say that Sasuke isn't stopped by Orochimaru, because Orochimaru is kind of, shriveled up and still needs to regenerate against Naruto, which means Sasuke isn't going to be stopped here. When Kirin is then dropped, this would lead into Yamato using all of his chakra to try and build wooden forts to protect everyone, and this wouldn't really work as Kirin would just pierce right through it and damage completely everybody and the area around them. The only ones I'm going to say aren't completely dead from the blow are Naruto and Sakura, because Naruto is able to be healed up, while Sakura wasn't really in the fight and she was kind of, around everyone, but she took the least amount of damage and she's still barely alive, whereas Sai and Yamato tried to intervene and they both died because of it. At that point, Kabuto then steps in and tells Sasuke that it is enough and he, Orochimaru, and Kabuto need to go. At that point, the three then disappear with Sasuke saying later, and Sakura and Naruto are just at a loss for words. They lost 2 comrades. Naruto is nearly about to go completely berserk, however Sakura just manages to control Naruto at the last second and tells him to snap out of it and they need to concentrate on the bigger picture. they need to go back to the Leaf, report what had just happened, and prepare for the next move. Now here, Naruto's chakra would be overflowing once again with Kurama's influence, which Samehada is taking a liking to because all that chakra is drenching onto it, and Samehada loves chakra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to be leaving off part 1, and I'm going to let you guys decide. Does Naruto go completely berserk and destroy everything around him, or does he calm down thanks to Sakura? Your decision and your conclusion can prove pretty detrimental to the story, and it's really two different paths, so choose wisely. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are new. That way you are notified and updated every time I upload, and be sure to hit the like button along with sharing with everyone. Share with your grandma, your mother, share with everybody. And with that being said, be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. See you guys in part 2.